Hey guys, welcome back to another Creative Tab tutorial. We're back doing some sort of load-in UI. We will move off the load-in stuff, but I've just got loads of ideas, so I'm making tutorials for them. This is kind of similar to the Windows 7 or Windows 10 kind of load-in circle. I think it may be Windows 7. But it's like a little blue circle with a sort of little glow animated around. So that's what we're going to do in this one, okay? So let's have a quick look at what's going on. Let's stop this play in a sec. You can see that we've got this medium solid in the background. It's just like a little very, very light blue. Then we've got this main circle, okay? Main circle just static there with a little bevel on there. And then we've got this glow, okay? So if I were to turn this alpha track matte off, you can actually see it's quite big. And this is animated around, but we're just using a copy of this circle as an alpha matte to restrict it just to in here. So it's pretty simple. So let's go File, New, Project, save, whatever. And then I'm going to go to Composition and New Composition. I want it to be 1920 by 1080. 25 frames per second is what I'm working with. And 5 seconds is fine. Let's click OK. So first of all, nice and simple. Let's get that solid in there. Layer, New, Solid. And I'm going to go for a very sort of pale cyan, like so, something like that. C4FEFF is what I'm going for. Click OK, OK, and here we go. Now I want to rename this. Right click, rename, and I'm going to call it BG for background, and I'm going to lock it so I don't touch that. If I click, it doesn't move it. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a new shape layer, and I want that to be a circle or an ellipse. So let's get that ellipse tool. I don't want it to have a fill, so I'm going to click the word fill and go to none, OK, and then I'm going to click the word stroke and turn this onto a solid color, click OK, and I'll select my color to be a relatively sort of lightish royal blue. I'll go for something like this, and I'm going to hold shift as I draw it, so it'll be uniform, and then I'm just going to control or command double click the pan behind tool, so it jumps to the middle, and then I'm going to move this up just into the middle as well. And if you want to align it in dead center, just come to align. If you can't see that, go to window, make sure align's turned on. So I'll come here and I'll align layers, horizontal center and vertical center. So that's dead in the middle now. Okay, I want to come select this layer. Let's rename it main circle, just so we know what's going on. And click it, come to layer, layer styles, bevel, and emboss. And I'm not going to go too crazy with this actually. I'm going to come down to the bevel and emboss options. The size I'm going to take up just a touch, and I'm going to soften it quite a bit as well. I'm going to turn down the shadow opacity to about 50, because I don't want them to come through too much. Actually, I'm going to go 30 on that. And yes, you've just got a little bit of a lightness there. Now what I may do is come into the ellipse, come into the stroke, and I may brighten this a bit. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a brighter one, maybe something like that, and click OK. Yeah, that's looking better. So we've got a little bit of a bevel there, not too much, and you can lighten that, and you don't even have to put it on if you don't want to. So we've got the main circle, great. Now let's get that, Control or Command D, and duplicate it. Okay, we'll turn the bottom one off. We'll come into this, and I'm actually going to delete the bevel and emboss layer style, and I'm going to come into the contents. I'm going to go to the ellipse, I'm going to go to the stroke, and I'm going to turn this to a much brighter glowy kind of blue like that. Okay, I'm going to collapse that down, and then I'm going to add a trim paths. Where is it? Trim paths. Okay, so if we come into here, you can see that we can kind of, you can animate this, just kind of like a little load-in thing. But I'm just going to bring this all the way to 90. So it's going to technically leave us start 90, end 100. It's going to leave us with 10% of the circle. And you can basically animate this offset, which is what we've done in a previous tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alt-click this offset. I'm going to type in time. I'm going to do the little star for times and 100. Let's see. I think it's 150 I used. So if we play this, it's just going to keep on going around like so. Now I want it to go a little faster, so let's just wait till that preview's in so it's playing back in real time. Yeah, I'm thinking actually maybe 200, make it go twice that speed. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this main circle 2. I'm going to rename it to Glow Animator or Animation, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go to my effects and presets, and I'm going to type in fast blur. Okay, so let's click and drag that onto that layer. I'm going to turn this up to, I'm going to turn this outline off just by pressing this button down by here. I'm going to turn this up to, let's go with 25. I think I'm going to go maybe even 35. I think I'll go for that. And I'm also going to go and put a glow on there. Drag it on. And just wait till that preview in. I'll give it a little glow as well. So when we put it back on top of the other circle, it'll show up that extra bit more. Mine's still loading in. While I do that, I'm just going to collapse this glow down. Collapse all that. And I'm going to turn on this main circle in the background. So you can see that that's where it is. Now you could actually probably do with a 50 on that for the fast blur. Yeah, I think that's good. And you can always, let's see what it looks like with and without the glow. You can always duplicate the glow if you want, or play around with the settings to get it more, but I think I'm going to leave mine at 1. So what we want to do now, this actually animates around, okay? But we want to kind of limit it because it's going over the edges. So if we get this main circle, Command or Control D, put it above the glow animation, and let's click toggle switches, come to the track matte for the glow animation, and hit Alpha Matte Main Circle 2. So it's only going to show up where the main circle 2 is, and the main circle 2 is now closed off. So we'll just rename this to Alpha Matte for Glow. Let's get rid of that G and add a G right here. Okay, so if we play this now, we've got that pretty much sorted. Now what I might do is the edges are still a little bit sharp, so I'm going to come to the glow animation and I'm going to chuck this up to 100. Yeah, it's got more of a fall off now. And what I may also do for this glow animation may help a little bit, may not be actually worth it for the amount of CPU which I'll use now. I think I'm going to turn the motion blur off because it's got that fast blur anyway. But that's essentially how we create this one. So it's got that, I'll just let it play through. It's animated via an expression, time times I think 200. So as time goes on, it'll animate that offset. So if we just let that preview in, this will be the kind of finished result. Now, it's up to you whether you want to play around with the colours of it. I'd probably play around with the base colour of the main circle, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit brighter. May play around with the bevel and emboss. But this is what we're kind of left with, this kind of like little loading circle. So that does it for this tutorial. Check out our other UI tutorials, our other After Effects, Nuke and Photoshop tutorials. Give a comment, rate and subscribe, thumbs up and everything. If you can, that'd be helpful. And make sure to keep up to date with us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to keep up to date for our upcoming tutorials and courses. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.